Time for the mailbag, Abby. Where are we starting off?
Okay. What are your thoughts on how the conference realignment will affect bowl games?
Jeez, Sean. Commissioner Callahan.
That's right.
So the big questions are the Alamo Bowl, and I thought about you on this one, the Sun Bowl, El Paso. Steve Sipple fantasizes over trips to places.
I was devastated when Alex Henry made that 57-yard because if they weren't going, if he misses that kick, they're going to El Paso.
Can you imagine the level of El Toro Mexican restaurants?
I can imagine
in El Paso,
the
Texas.
mezcalitas would be flowing.
They would.
Well, I okay. I don't know how deep I want to get in this story, but I heard stories back in the day, like when you would get your media credential at the Sun Bowl, they would give you like shots of tequila at check-in.
Oh, Rob wouldn't have liked that at all.
No, I would walk away.
And now this is back in like the early 80s, but somebody said that there were even like professionals working the lobby.
Well,
like,
I don't know.
I'm not going to get into that stuff. I was like, God, that's
Time
quite the
and place.
bullshit.
Why you think that would appeal to me, I don't know. But the anyway,
Welcome to the Sun Bowl, Mr. Simple.
this will be our last episode. So,
That's right.
let's let it fly now.
Yeah, let's go. Why not?
But yeah, the Sun Bowl and then the Alamo Bowl.
Why are those on your mind?
Well, because the Pac-12 is done, and the Pac-12 was a primary partner to the Alamo Bowl. I do think the SEC is going to be in a good position for those Texas bowl games because of Arkansas, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. Those bowl games are going to know they'll get one of those teams.
Okay.
I still think the Big 10 will get some of those games, but I have a hard time thinking. I mean, the Alamo Bowl is going to want the SEC if they can.
Well, or could the Big 12 absorb one of those? The Sun Bowl?
The Big 12 or the ACC's in the Sun Bowl, so the Big 12 could go to the Sun Bowl.
Okay, that's right.
The Sun Bowl still is aired on CBS. It's the only like bowl game CBS airs. They have the longest. It's got a lot of tradition, that bowl game.
I'm just glad somebody wondered about the bowls because it's like, oh yeah, they still play bowl games.
Oh, and the Holiday Bowl too.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Holiday Bowl is back to the Big 10. And
really?
We lost that one, and Robert and I had some good times at the Holiday Bowl.
Spent a lot of time in San Diego.
Missed the shuttle one year. They told there was a media shuttle to come back, and this was pre-Uber days. And Robert and I were sitting outside the stadium with
Qualcomm.
There was a domestic dispute going on about a block away, and the cops came. We're just sitting there watching, waiting, and no one came. So finally, the director of the bowl game picked Robin and I up and gave us a ride back.
He left their like bowl staff party.
Wasn't the
to come
mayor
pick us
available?
up in his own car?
No, but it was Mark Neville.
Mark Neville.
Is that right?
He
What a
picked
dude.
us up at like 2 a.m.
What
from
a dude.
Qualcomm Stadium.
That is, say the fella's name again.
Mark Neville.
Yeah, he
Great
deserves
man.
that. He deserves to have his name mentioned twice.
All
3
right.
times.
What's next, Abby Barmore?
Okay, our next one. Who do you think will earn the single-digit jerseys?
Gifford's a pretty good bet.
So
Sims.
He
yeah,
wants it.
Kemp, Newsom,
Sherman. That's 5. Is there going to be like a wild card? Is there going to be like a John Bullock guy that gets one of these?
Alex Bullock.
What about like a Tommy Hill?
Tommy Hill.
He's a 0. That was his number last year.
So here's my question. So for one, do we know what they're going to do with offensive linemen? I mean, like, do they just get like a little helmet sticker, single digit? Because by the rule, they can't be single digits, obviously.
Like, what about if Nash Hutmacher's won?
Be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But would he take a single digit?
Well, that's another thing. Would like I said Gifford flippantly, but Isaac, would he take one?
That's what like, and so like Jeff Sims has been like 14 for a long time.
He won't be 14 because Ramir's 14.
What is he?
Isn't he?
I don't know.
Isn't Ramir Johnson 14?
I think they changed his number.
They got like 4 14s
Yeah,
right
okay.
now. I know.
Yeah, well, because of the no single digits, they've got a few.
Right. So yeah, so anyway, that was just an example. Their guys are pretty superstitious and like traditional about their numbers.
True.
Like they have the same number from like Pop Warner all the way
Like
through
Newsom
their entire
wants that
careers.
6-pack.
Yeah. And so like, are there guys that are going to want to change their numbers to be a single digit guy, or they want to keep things going? So I wonder about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think the discussion is fascinating because there are people like me who I don't care what number I would have been. I just give me a number. I don't care what it is.
Like
but there are guys who it is very important to them.
Yeah. If you're a defensive back, you don't want to be like 47 or something like that.
No, I don't.
That's
wouldn't
John
bother
Lynch, though.
me.
That's a good number.
Do you think Rule though is prepared for the amount of over analyzing that's going to come out of this? I'm guessing at Baylor and
He's
Temple when he did this,
he's not?
like it didn't even like it didn't. It was just like an update on the official website, and maybe somebody goes, "Oh, these are the new numbers." Here, I mean, there's going to be like special sections in the newspaper on it.
Well, why is this guy got a single and not this guy?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
going to be nut. I mean, like I don't know if Rule quite understands like the over analyzing that's going to come with this.
He will
I
very
think
quickly.
he's starting to get a pretty
yeah,
good idea.
he's learning very quickly about it.
Yeah, the fan day thing kind of upset him. You could tell. I mean, he didn't like lose his cool around
What's that?
where people identified the people that weren't at
Doing
fan
roster
day.
reports based off fan day attendance.
I wasn't there, by the way. All right, what's next? We got time for two more.
Oh,
Okay. Do the Huskers currently have a top 50 Big Ten player on their roster? And if so, who is it?
Top 50?
wait a
Yep.
second, 50?
Like overall.
God,
I
you'd
would
think
hope
so.
so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
Luke
know.
Reimer would be a top 50.
So you got what? 22 guys plus specialists. So let's say like
Let's
26
take special
on all the All Big Ten teams. They didn't have a single All Big Ten player. So no.
True.
If you based off that, no.
Well, what about second team?
Yeah, top 50 would delve into the second. Even.
Candidates. Sims has got to be one. I would think
Kemp.
that Kemp would be, and based on what we're hearing about Gifford, he's got to be entering that realm. I mean, listen, just put it this way: Rule said he's a multi-year NFL player.
Here's the other part of the
If
discussion.
he keeps developing, multi-year.
Sean, you said this in the chat. Winning plays a huge
Yeah.
part of that too.
Yeah, it does.
Does a 6 or 7 win team get more than 1 or 2 All Big Ten players on any team? I don't know.
No.
But
Very rarely. You have to be pretty darn good.
top 50 players. Now think about: are we missing somebody? Are we missing anybody obvious?
Like-
Newsom.
Newsom, you mentioned.
Ben Scott.
Oh yeah,
Ben Scott.
maybe.
I mean,
Ben
he's
Scott.
got a draft grade.
Yeah.
But think about just the linemen in the Big Ten right now. Who's he beating out? Michigan's like entire starting 5 on the offensive line is all Big Ten.
Well, he's a pro, though. I mean, he's a pro. But a lot of it, again, will come down to winning. If you're on a 5-7 team,
That's as to whether you'll be all Big Ten. This is just the beauty of this question is it doesn't
matter.
It's just do you have a top 50 guy?
Right.
I think you might have a couple.
All right, final question.
Okay. Our last one. What is your favorite sporting event that you've ever attended?
Oh, gosh.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Like covered or attended?
Attended or both? You were there.
Mine, I mean, this is kind of a random one, but I went to a Manny Pacquiao, Sean Mosley fight
That's right, you did
in
Vegas.
Vegas with Eric Winter, a former Rivals director, and he had a relationship with the top rank Bob Arum, or the guy that ran.
Bob Arum.
So, and
Bob Arum was the promoter.
And I got in late, but they went to the weigh-in on Friday, and they met Bob Arum at dinner and talked to him and stuff. But just going to that fight, seeing a true big Vegas fight was unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. The amount of celebrities and people just roam. Like I was in the concession stand, and Tony Gonzalez was next to me buying something at line. I mean, the NFL tight end. In all these people from the Philippines came out to watch Pacquiao. He was like the Husker football team for the Philippines. Like everybody travels to watch this guy, and that was so cool. I mean, I went to the rugby game in Aviva Stadium last year too, but that Pacquiao fight for me was very unique and fun.
You went to the rugby game?
Yeah, with Casey Frinton, we went out there.
When he was the Nebraska diplomat to Ireland.
I sat mid pitch.
He was the Nebraska diplomat. I don't know how all this escapes
I
me.
think he went over there before Frost did.
Well, Frost never went on the trip.
He went in place of Frost.
Oh, this is your pre-trip.
Yeah, the marketing trip.
Oh,
summer.
the marketing. This is I was
Yeah.
going to say.
Now,
Sean went to a rugby game when we were there. I don't
Fitzgerald
remember.
got to go over there too.
Yeah. As you're on your ambassador trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the Nebraska rep.
Well, I'm not surprised. Rob, what's your favorite?
So
Hard.
I mean, just from like a fan standpoint, probably like any of the Giants games I went to. The first Giants game I went to was in Texas. They won. It was awesome. Then I went to a Giants home game several years ago when Nebraska played at Rutgers the first time. So that was cool. But like just from an experience standpoint, I still have to say No Sit Sunday. I mean, just the atmosphere of that game was unlike anything I've ever experienced.
It was intoxicating.
It was.
It was
So
intoxicating.
there's really been nothing that has matched that from start to finish.
It's a good one. I just hesitate so much because I covered all those national championship games, big conference championship games. If I pick something outside the realm, you guys would just think I'm crazy. I mean, I used to love going to Twins games back when they had Rod Carew. I mean, this is not in the 70s.
You were at the 94 Miami Orange Bowl, right?
No. I started in 95 full time.
Okay, that would have been up there for me if I would have been at that game.
Yeah, if you would have
just to like go in there and see Nebraska with a bunch of their offensive line had like 2 8-man guys on it, and they beat Ray Lewis and Warren Sapp.
If I'm just thinking of cool sporting memories, so I guess one thing that comes to mind is when I go to these Minnesota Twins games, there weren't many people in their old stadium where it's on the side of the Mall of America now, so you could go down close, and I would watch Rod Carew's at bats from like the first row behind home plate, and that freaked me out. I mean, I was like, man, like look at that's Rod Carew, like right in front of me. That used to, for some reason, that sticks out. I did see Bob Gibson. Now I was like 5 pitch for St. Louis, but I remember it. I mean, it was Bob Gibson pitching for the Cardinals, throwing 99 miles an hour. But I can barely remember it. Barely.
Yeah, this is one of those mailbag questions. We come back, we're going to do a whole show on this
exactly.
next.